moving on to our last rapid fire presentation. This is about machine learning, and I wanted to share with everyone the efforts that Davey Resource Group has begun to take regarding this new technology. So anyone that was in the presentation back in March, you might remember photo video assessment. The idea of mounting cameras on top of a car and driving along utility corridors, and then having a forester sit and interpret those videos and imagery to see what kind of information could be gathered. The part that caught my eye during that presentation was when Phil Hanna mentioned that it takes a special type of person to sit and look at pictures of trees all day and stay productive. So this is something that machine learning can potentially help us with. What machine learning does is it gives computers the ability to learn without being specifically programmed. There's a couple different mechanisms or methods for this, but one I'm going to focus on is supervised learning, which is more or less making it so a computer can generate classifications based on pattern recognition. So you share a set of data that has defined classifications. This is called training. And from that training set, the machine learning uses these learned patterns on new data sets in order to provide classifications. A little diagram that kind of walks it through on the processes. And some examples of this is in the real world would be Watson. Automated email responses. I noticed that on my smartphone in Gmail, it will automatically suggest for me what a good reply to this message might be. Facial recognition, not just in the point like using on Facebook where you can tag your friends, but also to be able to interpret what the person's gender is, their age, what their state of emotions are based on the facial expression. And then finally, photo recognition software. Now, Caltex Registry in Pasadena, California is an example of a third party that's leveraging this type of technology. So what they did is they took an existing street tree inventory, thank you Davey Resource Group. They took Google aerial imagery and Google Street View imagery, and they utilized that information in order to train the machine learning. So to use the aerial imagery to extrapolate where there are potentially trees, where they found those trees, they were able to get a series of street view images from different angles on that same tree, and since they had the existing inventory set, they were able to teach the computer that, this is a photo of an oak, or this is a photo of a maple. Afterwards, they then took other data sets that were extracted and ran it through the model to see, and they were able to cross-reference it against the remaining inventory. They were able to identify species at an average of 80%, and that was clear down to botanical level, so not just the genus level. They were able to tell you if it was a red maple or a sugar maple or whatnot. And some species were, less successful, maybe 60%, but others were higher. But generally, in average, it was about an 80% success rate. They were also able to identify tree diameter. So their goal is to offer this as a national service, to have a service where any city could go in and pull the results of this type of analysis to get an idea where there might be publicly owned trees. So this is happening, and we have a choice to make. We can hide from this, or we can do as our founder did and embrace new technology and lead the way. So our small bet is, what can we learn about this technology and method, and how can we complement our current operations with it? What opportunities exist for higher value services to make use of this information? So what we've done, we contacted another third party to ask them for their cost to build a similar system. This third party had experience of feeding photos of cars through the machine learning to identify damage for insurance purposes. We then reached out to Registry, which is now called AI, and started discussing potential partnerships. We identified what we can offer them and what they can offer us. And then we applied together for a grant for a pilot project in the Kansas City area. Next steps would be to perhaps create a new inventory extraction within the same climate zone as Pasadena, California. We might be able to help ground truth this information. And we could also confirm how we could potentially use this information in our products. Imagine TreeKeeper 8 being available to a city, and Google announces that they've updated the Street View imagery, and to be able to have TreeKeeper 8 automatically process and record the results in order to share where we have trees that have been removed or trees that have been planted that aren't concurrent with the current data set. We can aid in the training of additional regions by providing data expertise and/or ground truthing. So I believe that while the machine learning is configured to work in Pasadena, California, you're going to have a different set of species and different imagery related to even common species in different parts of the country, and we might be able to help build machine learning for those particular regions. And then how can we develop this market? By leveraging our existing client base and our contacts. So these are the potential next steps that we're working with AI to explore, and there'll definitely be more to learn about this as we move forward.